at the Wendy Museum in Culver City, and it is a very exciting night because it's Daniel Lee for Culver City Council's fundraiser.
But to start off, I'd like to introduce my friend and comedian Mario Maybe, who will be our MC for the night. After that, we'll have a few words by our council member, Megan Sally Wells, who's been nice enough to join us tonight. Then I will say a few words, and then after that, my friend Byron, Mario and Byron will treat us to some comedy.
Guys, we're going to talk about some politics tonight. We're going to talk about life a little bit, and we're going to improve the situation. Are we right? Yeah. Let's get this shindig started, shall we? Coming to the stage right now from Culver City, California, Megan Sally Wells.
How many people here are excited about Daniel? You know, for the past 100 years in Culver City, the leadership has not looked like the community it serves. And as only the 5th woman in our 100-year history on the city council, I know what it's like to break through barriers, to be faced with the old boys club, and to be told that they're there, it's not your time. Thankfully, I didn't listen to that. And thankfully, we've got Daniel Lee, who is going to step up and make history as the first African American on our city council in Culver City. But more than that, he brings a vision. He brings a vision based on his beliefs, his moral standing, his intelligence, because I don't know about you, I'm tired of people, I'm tired of this just being based on relationships. We've got chronic low voter turnout, which we are going to change. One of the important votes we're going to have in Culver City as voters is to be able to consolidate our elections. And in the cities that have done that, voter participation goes through the roof. So it's time for change. Some of the votes we're going to be taking in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, are on our general plan. The general plan is the constitution for development in our city. It's a document that's going to guide policy for the next 25 years or more. Don't you think it's important that the people that make the decisions to make this document live and represent the community be somebody who has real thought for policy, right? Who really cares about urban planning, the environment, equity, renters' rights, transparency. All of these things Daniel is really committed to. And I just can't wait for April. Let me just tell you. I can't wait for April because we have the opportunity to have change, the change that Culver City really deserves. Yeah. And that's going to better represent the entire community. One of the other key votes why I need Daniel as a colleague is the oil field. Yeah. We've got the largest urban oil field in the United States, right here in Culver City and next door in unincorporated LA County. we're going to vote on regulations. We have the power to ban fracking in Culver City. Again, I cannot wait until Daniel is elected. Let's support him. Let's make history. Let's be on the right side of history. And, like me, Daniel is not accepting developer contributions. Yeah. He's not getting contributions, which means that all of us need to step up. And I know, thank you all for coming and paying to be here tonight. The campaign contribution limit is $1,000. And so as close as you can get, or if you can reach that $1,000, it's going to make a tremendous difference. And if you can't make $1,000 or even $100, please consider volunteering for the campaign, putting up a yard sign, telling your friends, walking your neighborhood with Daniel. It's very powerful to go to a neighborhood with the candidate and be able to introduce him. So Daniel, thank you for running. You're going to be a great leader. And again, I just can't wait.
Second term, Daniel Lee!
I wanted to start out the way that I've been starting out speaking recently, stealing from Rick Tuttle, who likes to rile up crowds and start riots. He mentioned at my kickoff that there had never been an African-American council person in Culver City, and he did something that I want to ask all of you to do with me, sort of a call and response thing. But I've been mentioning it in the context of what Megan just spoke about. There's never been an African-American council person on Culver City Council. The refrain basically goes, how long, too long, I'm gonna need your help. But the bigger thing and the bigger issue that I think we're facing right now with the ultra-conservative, pseudo-fascistic administration in Washington, D.C., is that it's up to cities and local governments to be the actual resistance to that type of pseudo-authoritarian policy and practice. So, there's never been a progressive majority on the city council in Culver City. There hasn't been a progressive majority in the 15 years that I've lived here. Maybe there was like 97 years ago. During the first progressive movement. But I think that's unacceptable. But this is where I'm going to need your help. There's never been a progressive majority. How long? Too long. I think we need to do that again. That was my fault. Like I wasn't as expressive enough. I'm a little stoic. But there's never been a progressive majority in Culver City. How long? Too long. And that's really the focus of my campaign. I can't tell you how many nights I've spent 7 hours at City Hall looking at Megan's face and wondering why this particular decision took 5 hours instead of 5 minutes. For the people who have come to hear a little bit about my platform, I want to mention that just briefly. I basically kept to my platform that I had before. It was around environment, accountability, and fairness. One of the prevailing issues, as Megan mentioned, was the Inglewood oil field, and that continues to be the issue. In an era of advancing technology and an accelerating transition from fossil fuels to clean energy, there's no reason for us to tolerate still having the Inglewood oil field operate and then having them expand oil drilling operations that include fracking and other types of oil exploration that they use various different names like gravel packing or well maintenance, when all of these operations give them oil or gas. I think there's an affordable housing crisis in the city. When I ran last time, a lot of people said that you should not mention affordable housing, Daniel, you're gonna lose. I don't think I could run without mentioning affordable housing. It's become more of a prevailing issue in the last few years as we see seniors get evicted from a city they've lived in for 40 or 50 years, as we see families whose children actually want to live close to their mom and dad, unable to do so. And I know there's a lot of things at work on the state level and on the county level, but Culver City needs to do its part. Beyond that, a larger issue with me is just civic engagement in general. There are a lot of people in Fox Hills in particular, but also in West Culver and parts of East Culver, who don't feel that they are adequately represented by the city. There are a lot of people who are renters in Culver City who don't feel that they are adequately represented by the city. There are a lot of people of color in Culver City who don't feel that they are adequately represented by the city. And there are a number of different processes that the city has gone through, like the TOD visioning process, which was very well done. The legal marijuana dispensary process, which was very well done. But there are other processes that affect people in these particular neighborhoods that don't provide enough public input, that don't provide enough chances for the people who are going to be affected by these changes to have an opinion on them, or to say, hey, maybe we don't want this in our neighborhood. So a large part of my platform is to be as open as possible to as many people as possible, even the people that I disagree with. And I feel like there is a perception that Culver City Hall represents downtown Culver City, and we need to represent the entire city. And my campaign slogan, which I just sort of came up with after a day of being incredibly frustrated by what that person said, in the last 5 minutes, is really about what we can do locally to combat what's happening not only in Washington, but around the world. We're in one of those moments where we need to stand up, or we're looking at some really, really dark years. And one of the best ways that we can stand up is to do that locally, is to have enlightened policies that are more inclusive, that are more representative, that are more about us. Basically, it's up to us. So in closing, I really just wanted to thank the Vendée Museum for allowing us to have our event here. I also wanted to highlight a couple of the pictures that I have behind me. They're from another museum, which will hopefully be working in concert with the Vendée very soon. The Mamie Clayton Museum, which is right on Overland, right across the street. Most of these are pictures of, I'm sorry, I'm blanking out. But Tom Bradley, who was the first African-American mayor of Los Angeles. And if I'm elected, there's a chance that I could be the first African-American mayor of Culver City. This picture struck me in particular because of my background. This is a picture of comedian Dick Gregory when he was young, and James Baldwin. And if you know me well, I come from sort of an organizing activist, pseudo-intellectual background. Real intellectual, but these are two people that I respect very dearly, and they are people who basically stuck to their guns and stuck to their principles and maintained success. And I personally I believe that you have to compromise in everyday life. You have to compromise in order to move things forward. You have to compromise in politics, but I don't compromise my principles, and these are two people who are really large role models for me. So I hope that you've enjoyed yourself tonight. I hope if we have another event, you will enjoy yourself again. But right now, I want to open it up to a couple of my friends, and since we're running up short on time, I want to ask them to trim down a little. Two of my friends who are comedians, Mario and Byron, and I hope you will leave happy, ready to donate again, and ready to get to work on changing our city and working for a progressive majority in Culver City. Thank you.